Dream SMP lore, story, whatever you want to call it. We're back for some more lore, hashtag more lore. What am I on about? Basically, we're here today to check out Dream SMP, the complete story, L'Manberg Revolution. Oh, I messed up saying, what is going on? The L'Manberg Revolution. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, I don't know. But apparently this part is quite good. But obviously it's good, that's why I'm checking it out in the first place. Anyway, let's get into this. If you enjoy, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment with suggestions for next time, and I'll read them, so leave a comment, and subscribe with notifications on, otherwise you'll probably miss my next video. You want to make sure you subscribe, like I said, otherwise, yeah. Also, go follow me on Twitch, JamieIsLazy. I'm going to be doing Twitch live streams, I'm going to be doing live reactions to Dream SMP and other stuff, and live gaming. I'll probably do some Minecraft and stuff like that, so you want to follow me. You've got to do it, it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get into this. It's a long video, so sit back and enjoy.
Independence or death.
I love this. Sorry, I'll try not to pause too much because it's going to be long. But I just love this. Like, there's a whole story in Minecraft. Like, it's just quality. The fact that they made this in the first place, like, it takes a good mind to think about doing this. You know, like, I think I respect them a lot. They've got a lot of it's good content for the viewers. You know.
Of the first war in the Dream SMP, the tension between Dream and Tommy and Tubbo did not go away. Having been the only people to stand up to Dream, Tommy and Tubbo were not exactly friends with the most powerful man on the server.
They're against them now, yeah.
But they couldn't fight back. They didn't have the resources, the
they got the CDs,
or
though,
the will
the discs,
to start another battle. Until a new player joined, who would change everything.
Orange Man.
Today, I will tell a story. A story of independence. A story of a people who rose up against tyranny. This is part 2 of the story of the Dream SMP.
I love how dramatic it is, it's so good.
Really quick, this video took weeks to make, so if you could take 1 second to subscribe.
Like the original video if you haven't, and subscribe to Evan.
Make my day. Thank you. Also, thanks again to Lord Cantor for letting me use his recreation of the Dream SMP for this video. Make sure to go check out his channel if you're interested.
That's cool, so he recreated all the scenes. That's pretty cool.
The link is in the description.
Everything that happened.
Anyway, let's start from the beginning.
Here we go.
Wilbur Soot.
I've seen this guy around.
Comedic genius and visionary. Coming up with some of the most influential ideas in recent Minecraft history, Wilbur is a mastermind of virality.
Jeez.
Creating his first video on March 29th, 2019, and using his experience from his time with the channel Soot House, Wilbur, in just under 2 years, has amassed over 3 million subscribers. So when it was announced that he would be joining the Dream SMP, people knew things would change.
Nice.
But no one expected how much it really would. Being a genius of words and stories, Wilbur brought something to the table that no one had really considered. Tommy had a rough idea of how the disc saga would go, but for the next story, Wilbur would take it a step further. The introduction of Wilbur marked a turning point in the SMP, from a jumbled mess of conflict to something more. From this point on, the story of the SMP would be planned out, for the most part, before it happened.
Okay, so I was going to say, so it's kind of scripted, but then also, if it's like a war, I guess they haven't decided already who's going to win, right? It's more like, that's going to happen, and whoever wins, then it determines what happens next, maybe?
Scripted improvisation.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
And Wilbur, the main writer, began his story.
He's the mastermind then. Let's go.
This marked the true beginning of the storyline of the Dream SMP. Wilbur saw an opportunity in the Dream SMP. Not an opportunity for power or an opportunity for war, but an opportunity for business.
Oh.
And on July 24th, he logged on to the SMP and began moving forward. He started by building a caravan. Camar van, the base of operations for his business. After this, he went to recruit his first business partner, Tommy Innit. He then explained his master plan for their business. After tricking the rest of the SMP members into giving up all of their blaze rods and brewing stands, Tommy and
How do you
Wilbur
trick
were
them
able
into
to
that?
produce all of the potions on the server, profiting from the newfound rarity
Wow.
of these potions. Agreeing without hesitation, Tommy joined Wilbur, and together, they began sweeping the server, convincing players to give up their brewing stands and blaze rods. They started
This is a proper mastermind at work. Slowly but surely, they're making it.
with Tubbo. Tubbo, who trusted Tommy and Wilbur, fell victim to the scam,
Oh no!
giving his brewing stands and water breathing potions.
I thought he was friends with them.
That being said, not everyone was convinced. One man saw right through their plan.
Napsap.
Sapnap. As Tubbo attempted to give up a stack of blaze rods to the new business partners, Sapnap punched Tommy out of the way,
he knows.
taking
He's
them
in.
for himself. With further suspicion of their operation, Sapnap followed Tommy and Wilbur back to their van,
Okay,
taking it upon himself to investigate.
here we go.
Entering the truck,
He's gonna get an ambush, isn't he?
Sapnap, against the will of Wilbur and Tommy, began looking around. And it only took him a few seconds
Just kill him,
to
innit?
enter the back of the truck and find their brewing stands.
Maybe
Thus
they can't. They don't have the
exposing their
armor.
plans of scamming the server into giving up all of their potion making
Imagine Sapnap's walked in and just seen all of that. Turns around, they're just like, I can explain.
supplies. With their backs against the wall, the duo attempted to enlist the help of Fundy. Their plan to get Fundy on their side was
I
to
like his
frame
skin, it's funny.
Sapnap as the bad guy.
Like a fox or something.
They then proceeded to hide the evidence of their plans from Fundy, who then decided to join them. After this, Sapnap had had enough.
Oh,
Attempting to arrest Wilbur and Tommy,
With a
Sapnap
bow and
ended
arrow.
up killing Tommy purely for taunting him.
what?
This prompted Tubbo, who was on the side of Sapnap after being scammed by Tommy and Wilbur, to reconsider his position. But although his loyalty to Sapnap wavered, for now, he remained on the side of the law. There was nothing
Fair
the
enough.
three could do. Being completely outgeared, Wilbur, Tommy, and Fundy retreated to the van. And right as
They
they,
got no
thought
gear.
things couldn't get any worse, they did. As it turns out, Tommy had some unfinished business with Punk, having stolen from him once again.
Oh no, it's Tommy that's
And as
always
the team
causing the trouble,
retreated to
man.
the van, Purpled and Punk came to confront Tommy.
Always, every time.
Things were not looking good for the new business,
They're
and
out there. They can be looking through the window.
if the team wanted a chance to escape, they had to think of something fast. And quickly, a plan began.
Dig it underground, maybe.
Wilbur walked out of the van, stalling Purpled and Punk just long enough for Tommy to escape through the floor of the van into a cave.
That's really smart, actually.
Shortly after, the two noticed and began to pursue him.
Oh, it's exciting.
Wilbur, confronted only by Tubbo, logged out of the game to buy some more time.
Okay. How was that not
Lastly,
cheating?
Fundy stayed in the caravan, along with Tubbo and Eric, another member of the SMP who had recently joined. The guards stood, awaiting Wilbur to rejoin. Meanwhile, the pursuit of Tommy continued, and before long, they had found him.
Wow, that didn't last long.
Surrounded, Tommy surrendered, being escorted to jail on half a heart.
Oh, yeah, you can't really.
With the news of Tommy being
Do much,
captured, one of the guards, Tubbo, began escorting Fundy to jail as well for conspiring to help Wilbur and Tommy.
Conspiring.
All that remained in the van was Eric, the final guard standing between Wilbur and freedom. But in a surprising turn of events, Eric betrayed the other guards, choosing to help the enemy instead. And just like that, Eric was an ally of the business.
What? How was that happen then?
Knowing he was safe,
How has he managed that?
Wilbur logged back in and conspired with Eric to free Fundy and Tommy. Their plan to free Fundy was easy as he was still being escorted by Tubbo. Eric would convince Tubbo to let him finish the escorting of Fundy to court, where he would then bring Fundy to his house, allowing him to plant Wilbur the ingredients for an invisibility potion. And the plan would have worked. But when Fundy and Eric reached Fundy's house, Purpled was there. Little did they know he had been spying on them in their voice call the whole time and knew Eric had betrayed them.
Don't know why that makes me laugh. The whole time he's just there listening.
He then quickly informed Sapnap of the
Not
news
so safe
and
anymore,
requested him to come to Fundy's base as backup. While Sapnap was leaving for Fundy's base, he left Ponk in charge of watching Tommy.
Okay.
As the two sat in the courthouse,
Team up?
they began to talk. And before
Romantic?
long, Tommy had convinced Ponk to help him escape.
How does he do it, man?
Tommy's plan was to have Ponk draw the guards back to the courthouse and escape through a hole he dug in the back of his cell. This was perfect timing for Sapnap and Purpled, as Sapnap had just arrived at Fundy's base and the two guards began escorting Fundy and Eret to court. Tubbo, meanwhile, traveled back to the van to keep an eye on Wilbur.
He just stood there.
After Wilbur transformed the van from the potion brewing station it was to a hot dog van, Tubbo, with Wilbur's permission, investigated. Finding nothing out of the ordinary, Tubbo provided compensation of 10 gold for the disturbances they had caused earlier.
That's good, no?
And gold was one of the main materials he needed to make the invisibility potion.
Ooh.
The plan was beginning to fall into place. Although it had hit some rough patches, there was still a solid chance of the prisoners escaping.
I've realised how little I know about Minecraft. In case you skip the intro, make sure you follow me on Twitch. JamieIsLazy is the name of it. I think I'll do a Minecraft like playthrough on there. I've not played it much in the past. I could do like a proper like survival mode, or I could play with like viewers. I could play with you. That'd be good actually.
And as the guards escorted Fundy and Eret back to court, Wilbur continued gathering the resources for the potions.
He's going to work.
Before long, the trial had started and they were running out of time to escape. Ponk had been figured out and was thrown in jail with Tommy.
How do you figure them out? They let stuff loose so
looking for
easy.
Wilbur, who had just began brewing. With Purple gone and Wilbur about to be compromised, all four of the prisoners dug out of their cells and ran.
Oh.
Everyone was on the run. After some fighting, everyone decided it would be best to meet back at the van. And as they were coming back, Tubbo and Wilbur began to talk. After explaining his plans to Tubbo and talking of the injustice they had done to him and his accomplices, Tubbo decided to join his side.
Yeah.
And just like that, with everyone safe in the van
English as well,
and a new member on their side, the businessmen had been through enough. They knew that the next time they logged on, they had to fight back.
Jeez.
And Wilbur had an idea.
At this point, do the rest know that they've all teamed up, or is this like all in secret? Or is there another spy listening in?
One that would send the server into further chaos and begin one of the most famous stories on the SMP. The team would no longer be businessmen. They would be citizens of a new nation.
Oh, they made a new nation.
They would begin a revolution.
Okay, this is cool. I like this.
Before we continue, I'd like to give a quick thanks to this video's sponsor, the Archon. If you don't already know, the Archon is one of the most popular factions in Skyblock server.
Well, I can sort my hair out while this goes.
And they also host a variety of other fun games as well. Luckily for you, just for watching the video, you can grab yourself a free rank. Just click on the free rank icon in the store, then add to cart, specify the realm you want to claim your rank in, and finally enter code EVAN to claim the rank.
Evan's out, I can't skip it.
The IP to join and code to claim your rank are on screen now and also in the description. So don't miss out and come join the fun.
Cool.
And now, back to the video. 1 week passed before their country was officially born. In that week, as well as the time before Wilbur joined, a lot had changed on the server. New players and new builds.
Skeppy?
During the time of peace after the first war...
Is that Skep? What's it called? Skep Halo or something? I think. No, not Skep. Oh no. Not Skep. People keep asking me to watch Skep Halo. Isn't it Skeppy and Bad Boy Halo? That's their name. Okay, never mind.
2 new players joined the server. These players were Skeppy and Eret. For the most part, Skeppy did not play a major role in the story other than burning a new disc Tommy had gathered after the first war. Eret, on the other hand, did, and would play a major role in the new nation of Lamamber.
Oh, he's part of the new one.
At least for a little while. The new builds included a sewer system that led to many areas of the server, Eret's castle, which eventually housed the throne for whoever held the title of King of the Dream SMP.
Whoa.
A jungle base built far away by Tubbo, and a few new towers here and there. Bit by bit, development continued on the server.
This is cool.
Until
These structures are
the day
mad.
L'Manberg was born.
Oh, L'Manberg.
This day marked the beginning of a new era in the Dream SMP.
You got the van in the middle.
An era of independence.
Ooh.
3 days. That's how long the war would last. In 3 days, the fate of their nation would be decided, and the wills of the men, and Tommy, who created it, would be tested beyond their limits. But before they could begin a revolution, their great nation needed a name. And Tommy had just the idea.
Wilbur, I've had the idea. I've had the idea.
Oh, I have a
Oh
lot.
my
here we go.
god.
Manberg, or alternatively, Mantopia.
I like Mantopia.
Yeah.
How do we make it European? L'Manberg.
L'Manberg?
Manberg. Yeah.
So, L'Manberg?
Manberg. Where do you live? I live in the state of Manberg.
After the name was decided, the fellow citizens began to build a wall to distinguish their
How do you make it
land from the
European and just add L to it? Get an English word, add L to it, and that's French. I'm joking, not really.
Greater Dream SMP. In their new nation, anyone would be allowed to make potions without being arrested, and the tyranny
so they get to make their
of
own
Dream and his
rules,
fellow
they're not in the
Americans
same place.
would no longer affect them.
That's such a good idea.
This was the dream.
The divide.
And along with Wilbur, Tommy, and Tubbo, Fundy and Eret joined the new nation.
Hell yeah.
Upon hearing the news of revolution brewing on the server,
Dream's not happy, is he?
Dream went to confront the members of L'Manberg. This time, they didn't hide anything.
Vive la
The team
revolution.
explained that everything inside the walls was their land and would be governed and cared for by them, separately and under no rule of the greater Dream SMP. Included would be Tommy's Hill House, which would remain property of their nation as the L'Manberg Embassy.
I love that, they've got an embassy. That's class. That is class.
Dream, however, was not convinced and left to conspire with his friends about what to do. Before long, Dream began bribing Tommy to leave L'Manberg and rejoin the greater Dream SMP.
Woman on the
But he
side.
would have to do better than that if he
Woman.
wanted someone to turn. That being said, Wilbur still questioned Tommy's devotion to the cause.
Ooh, okay.
All you've done for this nation is you're one of the faces of it, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
But you need to understand that you've done very little in terms of setup. I mean, look behind you. Look at Eret working hard.
As the two continued to talk, Wilbur still questioned whether Tommy was truly devoted to the revolution or just there to be a face of the nation.
I see.
And after they reached an agreement, Phase 2 of Wilbur's plan began
The
to
outfits,
take
let's
shape.
go. That's cool.
But then, Tommy noticed something out of place. After alerting the rest of the squad about what was happening, Tommy saw It's Alyssa walking away from the fire. She had taken it too far. And as the team chased her down, she logged out to escape death. The team
Surely logging out is just cheating, otherwise you can just do something and then log out. Although I guess they always camp on where you've been when you log back in again. She's starting a war.
camped where she disconnected. Wilbur convinced
Oh, I
Tommy
see.
to
Okay,
take
they
off
marked
his
it.
armor and use his words, as he would not let their new nation of L'Manberg become the very thing he sought to destroy. Upon Alyssa rejoining, she began to run and Tommy killed her anyway.
Nice.
For Wilbur, this was the final straw. And when they all got back to L'Manberg, he temporarily dismissed Tommy, making him go back to his home in the greater...
I'd want to kill her
Dream
after that, to be fair.
But
She's trying to
then,
burn the place down.
word got out that Tubbo was being held hostage by Dream, Sapnap, and Puns. Tommy knew if there was any time to regain Wilbur's trust, it was now. By saving Tubbo, he could finally be the hero for L'Manberg he had always wanted to be.
Yeah.
But they took him hostage as well. After Tubbo revealed that he
Half
had
health
invisibility
again. Half a
potions,
heart.
Dream and Sapnap decided they could not risk them escaping with their stuff and killed both of them. With this,
Wow.
Wilbur knew it was time.
Declare war.
Time to make their revolution official. To free themselves of the tyranny and the aggression of the greater Dream SMP, and to officially declare their independence.
Oh, independence.
Independence. And after some writing, Wilbur Sood, the leader of the great nation of Lamamberg, had drafted their
What's that say? Forever the nation of the Dream SMP have cast great sins upon our great land of the Talk Dog Van.
And after some writing, Wilbur Sood,
Talk
the
Dog
leader
Van.
of the great nation
Like hot
of
dog van,
Lamamberg,
but
had drafted their declaration
I thought it was something
of
like Latin or
independence.
something. Ah, nice.
Forever the nation of the Dream SMP have cast great sins upon our great land of the Hata Dog Van.
Dog Van.
They have robbed us, imprisoned us, threatened us, killed many of our men. This time of tyranny ends with us.
Okay.
This book declares that the nation which shall be henceforth known as Lamamberg is separate, emancipated, and independent from the nation of Dream SMP.
Ooh, okay.
The union of the masters of men. Together we are one. When in the course
like
of
a
human
castle.
events it becomes necessary for one to dissolve the bonds which bind us, disregarding of this truth is nothing short of tyranny.
Dream's watching.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. The right of the people exists above the right of the king, the right of the government, and the right of the economy. From the Hata Dog Van, we shall
Dog
prevail.
Van. It's so dramatic.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of victory.
Good fortress, that.
This document was signed by all members of Lamamberg
Signed,
and
yeah.
represented much more than a mere book. These words were what held the nation together, a vow of brotherhood that would only end in independence or death.
Ooh.
With the framing of the book, the nation of Lamamberg showed itself as a force to be reckoned with. And to Dream, this marked the point of no return.
Yeah, man.
As long as Lamamberg stood, Dream knew he
Shouldn't have
couldn't
killed Tommy and Tubbo. You were asking for it, man.
And so, him, George, Sapnap, and Puns drafted another document. The Declaration of War. Unlike the first war for Tommy's discs, this
There we
time
go.
there was much more at stake. This was not just a war for independence, but a war for power. And Dream would stop at nothing to put Lamamberg in the ground if it was the last thing he'd do.
Oof. I mean, ooh.
With the reality of war beginning to set in, both sides began to prepare. Off-stream, Tubbo had gathered potions to aid them in the coming battles.
Off stream.
Meanwhile,
he's grinding off
Dream
stream.
had burned down Tubbo's house. Because Dream was offline, Tommy and Tubbo used this time to attempt to convince the members of the Dream SMP Guard that they were on the wrong side.
Yeah.
They began this by tempting Puns with a meaningless title, hoping he'd get excited and betray his friends.
Executive.
Next, Tommy had an idea to tempt Dream. He stated that if Dream refrained from attacking them, he would give up one of the discs.
Ooh.
Tommy's most prized possessions on the SMP, and the result of a hard-fought war.
Yeah, that's actually what he
would be
did
put on
in the whole
line
of the last
for
episode.
independence. But as Tommy and Tubbo were leaving Dream's base, their entire army logged on at once.
Oh no.
Tubbo was gunned down by Dream as Tommy fled to the sewers. All of the potions that Tubbo had gathered were lost upon his death, being burned by Dream.
That's so annoying.
Soon, everyone joined the call and reality began to set
That's
in.
annoying, man. Tubbo spent so
The
much time
Dream
doing
SMP
that. I bet.
army was there, and Lamamberg's was not. All Tommy and Tubbo could do was stall them and hope for the best.
He's fuming.
As
That hurt
Tommy
his hand.
arrived at his house to speak with Dream and his army, he found the entire property laced with TNT. As a final effort,
There's no need for that, is
Tommy
there?
attempted to convince Dream he was in the wrong, but he would have none of it.
Why's Dream got the UK Union Jack on his shield when he's like against the? Well, a lot of the members are.
The line
Did he nick Tubbo's one?
had already been crossed, damage had been done, and doom was imminent. Dream and his men gave Tommy and the rest of Lamamberg one day. 1 day to surrender, or everything they owned would be destroyed.
Oof.
And so, as Wilbur received the news,
Harsh threats,
the
man.
true preparation for the final battle began.
Tommy and Wilbur and the rest of LaManchildberg,
The man.
we are at war.
Do you know what we have that they don't have? We have camaraderie. We have a righteous cause. We have an area to defend.
There is no mercy. We have burnt down Tubbo's house. We have planted TNT cannons around your land. We have cobblestone walled the outside, and we have shot one warning shot inside your walls.
No matter what happens, no matter even if he comes, even if he destroys the very hot dog van that we live out of, until the day we stop breathing,
It's dramatic.
that is when L'Manberg has fallen.
And we have no mercy! No mercy for you!
Do you know what he's driven by? Greed. Do you know what we're driven by? The defense of our land.
Do you understand? We will come. We will burn down your houses.
He can destroy the
What's only
walls.
for that, is
We will
there?
kill everything inside your walls.
He can slaughter our friends, our family.
And we will take back the land that is rightfully ours.
But until the day we stop breathing, the minute we let go of that dream, that's when he has won. Men, are you going to let go of that dream?
I want to see white flags! White flags!
Not happening,
outside
not
your
happening,
base
mate, not
by
happening, mate.
tomorrow at dawn, or you are dead!
Not happening, mate. Not happening, mate.
August 4th, the day of reckoning. And as Dream and his army looked to
Also,
the sky,
yeah. I originally thought George's skin, I thought it was just big eyes, but it's actually clout goggles. Okay. Also, if you wonder why I keep looking there, it's because the camera stops recording after a certain amount of time. So I'm just checking to make sure it's still recording. I'm still watching the video. I'm not distracted. I'm just checking the time.
as of L'Manberg, no flags flew.
Yeah.
Today,
No flags.
there will be war.
Oh,
Before Wilbur
Kicking off
logged
now.
on, Tommy and Tubbo were attacked. After losing a few useless items, they retreated to L'Manberg, where they waited for the official start of the war.
okay.
Then their leader Wilbur joined the server.
Wilbur's in the boy.
With Dream and his men camping the
Gentlemen.
cobblestone wall they had built around part of L'Manberg, the revolutionaries retreated to the van and began to create
shoot him,
a
innit?
plan of action. Wilbur emphasized the importance of the element of surprise,
Invisible
as
potion.
their team was completely outgeared by Dream's army. While they discussed their plan, Dream and his men spread to each wall,
Ooh.
surrounding them. And as the two sides regrouped, they prepared for the Battle of the Ages.
Wilbur, it's time to actually fight.
The
Enough
war for
words.
independence, and
Swords
most of
instead.
all, the war for power. Wilbur decided that it would be a greater benefit for the group if he watched the battle from above. This meant
Oh, it was like
the
a-
one leading them
he
into battle
okay.
would be Tommy. As they began
So
making
he's
their way
like
to the battlefield, they took it all
Dictating
in.
what each member does. I
The
guess.
final calm
Good idea.
before the storm. The last peace. Once the battle began, there would be no rest until someone had won. And having had their moment of peace, both armies moved into position.
Here we go. Battle time,
Let
baby.
the war begin. The battle began on Tommy's front lawn. Dream and his men held Tommy's power tower while the L'Manberg army stood in the grass. As the enemies
Kill the high
stared each
ground.
other down, they both waited for the first move to be made. Then,
Gotta be an
a
arrow.
shot was fired by Dream,
Yeah.
but it was nowhere close to the opposition.
Ah, warning shot.
Confused, everyone thought he missed, but he didn't. This was the first trap of the war and
Okay, that
managed
was
to
good.
take out Fundy.
That is good.
Immediately, the L'Manberg army retreated inside Tommy's house as arrows began to rain
was a brilliant
down
idea.
from above. Totally undergeared, Tommy crafted a bow and missed the only shot he had. It had been less than a minute since the first shot was fired, and they were already backed into a corner. As Tommy began to retreat, Wilbur pulled everyone back.
Someone in the chat just put "man down" in all caps. I love that.
They had to hold their ground.
I love Twitch chat. It's so funny.
Placing half slabs on the windows, the men began
Ah,
returning
nice.
fire.
Little.
It didn't take
peepholes.
long for them to realize that their shots weren't doing much. They needed another plan. Tommy suggested purling on top of the tower and
Ooh.
knocking them all off.
Okay, nice.
But Tubbo reminded him that Dream had his end crystals from when they killed him earlier. Fundy, however,
What does that mean, end crystals? Does that stop him from using the pearls? Or is it that the pearls have already been used up on that? I don't know. What did pearl crystals do? End crystal.
had a better idea. Using an invisibility potion,
Ooh,
he
yeah.
would sneak up the tower, knocking all of them off and
Yes.
escaping unseen.
Hopefully it works.
This would be their next plan of action. But as everyone walked outside to draw fire away from Fundy, they realized the arrows had stopped being fired, and Dream's army was falling back to Pong's tower.
Oh, they did it too
In an
late.
attempt to effectively counter their enemy's new position, the Lemamberg army traveled to the nearby Punza's tower.
Oh, okay.
This tower stood at nearly the same height as Pong's tower and would allow for the fire to continue.
Oh, okay.
But Dream's army didn't climb the tower.
They sit at the bottom.
This meant that when Tommy and Tubbo reached the top
Don't
and
tell me to get
began
shots off.
firing
Shot
down,
off.
the Dream SMP army could not shoot high enough to hit them.
Oh, right.
They were completely safe. Because of this, as
That's
well
clever.
as fire from the rest of the Lemamberg army down below, Dream ordered his men to retreat
Yeah.
once again.
That's what I thought.
This was huge. Somehow, completely outgeared, Lemamberg was driving Dream's army out of their own land. And with this victory, Eric convinced the rest
Walking
of the
pair of,
group
like,
to join
diamond
him
legs.
in Lemamberg, for he had been grinding for a secret weapon,
Ooh.
something that would turn the tides of the war and secure victory.
Ender
A
chest?
surprise attack.
No, never mind.
But something was off. As the group moved closer and closer to the final control room,
Not
they
Betrayal.
only became more and more confused. Until they were all there, gathered around a single wooden button. Tommy could not handle the suspense and pressed the button. The room fell silent. Then, the unthinkable happened.
There's nothing in the chest.
Eric.
No.
Down with the revolution, boys. It was never meant to be.
Just like that. They all had nothing.
Wow.
All of their armor and weapons had been stolen or burned.
I guarantee he got. Oh, bloody hell. I bet he got loads of hate for that. I bet loads of people in the chat were like, grrr. Wow. It's a good plot twist, to be fair, but wow.
And they all retreated to the van. The place where it all began.
A tall,
To take
a
inventory
tall dog van.
and come up with another plan.
And then one
Before
member
long,
lighter now as
it
well.
became even clearer that they had absolutely nothing. This meant they would have to resort back to the core beliefs of Lemamberg. Winning through words. Wilbur, alone, attempted to negotiate with Dream. But it was no use. And yet another ultimatum was set. If Lemamberg did not fly white flags signifying
they
their
have to
surrender,
surrender.
of the war,
Surely not.
Dream would blow up it all. Believing this was a bluff, Wilbur followed Dream back to Lemamberg, where him and his men gathered at the wall for their final statement. Then, they all remembered the start of the war. The trap, the explosion. They had to stop. It was too late. All they could do was watch.
Get back. Don't let this hurt you guys. Don't let this be something hurt you.
The whole thing! How has he done that? What?
Oh my god.
How does he do that? So he's just like snuck underground when they're not looking and done all that. That is crazy. Dream is just like 2 steps ahead always. Or like 20 bits of dynamite ahead.
The land, their nation,
Wow,
the van. It was all gone. The dream of independence, a chance at freedom. Gone with the swift shot of an arrow. And with that,
Bit of Undertale music. Undertale music makes me emotional. I don't know why. It's quite emotional, I guess, but it's such a throwback. Simpler times.
Wilbur, along with his right-hand man, went to negotiate the terms of surrender. And as they met with Dream, Tommy began to run his mouth, and Wilbur's attempts at calming him were no use. Tommy went on, insulting Dream and even challenging him to a 1v1 bow duel.
Go on, Tommy.
But then something happened that was expected by absolutely no one. Dream was interested in the duel. And so, a civilized discussion began, and within minutes, a final duel was in place.
Here we go.
The
1v1
rules
or...
were simple. Both Tommy and Dream would line up on half a heart. After taking 10
first
paces
hit, then.
each, the two would turn around and fire bow shots at each other.
Oh,
The first person to land a shot would win the duel. The stakes were the highest they'd ever been. If Tommy won, L'Manberg would be given its independence. But if Dream won, not only would L'Manberg lose its independence for good,
it'd be gone.
but Tommy would have to give Dream Mellow High,
The disc.
one of the 2 discs he won back from Dream in the first
Sacred
war.
disc.
With everything on the line, the sun fell low in the sky.
Showdown, let's go.
It
Shoot
was
up.
a showdown. The creator of the server and most powerful man there versus Tommy, the scrappy 16-year-old with a dream of freedom. They took their positions. Wilbur stood in the center and would be counting off their 10 paces. The fate of L'Manberg was now in the hands of Tommy. All his friends could do was watch and pray. The count began.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, Tommy's got his bow ready.
8, 9.
The world stood still. And then
10 paces fire.
I thought Dream would win because when he showed the little preview thing, it had Tommy winning, and I thought he wouldn't spoil it. I thought Dream was going to win. Damn.
Tommy had lost. L'Manberg
He looks actually sad
had
there.
lost
So,
for the second time.
oh 07.
Tommy had lost.
Twitch chat cracks me up.
L'Manberg had lost for the second time. And Tommy owed Dream the very disc he spent days fighting to get back. With this, it once again seemed that all hope was lost for L'Manberg. But in one final twist, Tommy had an idea. One that would fly in the face of everything he was known for. He requested for Dream to join a private call, and he did. This is what happened.
Dream, I know what you want from me. I'll give you both of the discs if you let us have our independence.
Ooh.
Both of them.
Wait. That is a very, very interesting deal. That is very selfless of you. Those are your discs.
For the Manberg, you know? For
So
Wilbur,
dramatic.
for Tubbo.
Okay, I will. How about this? I'll grant you technical independence for both discs. We will not go into your grounds unless we're allowed, and we will.
You
attack
respect us. Yeah, just independence,
Yes, we
man.
will
Just
respect
independence.
you.
Tommy, despite for his entire time on the SMP thinking only of himself and his own wants and needs, laid down his most prized
That is
possessions
character
for the
development,
greater
I've never
good
seen it.
of their nation. This story had a happy ending, and L'Manberg, against all odds, was free at last. In the light of their victory, Wilbur gathered the men to write the Decree of Independence.
Again.
It read, "As we gaze upon the swaths of redwood trees, the great hills to our south, and the walls that have protected us for years, I, as the now president of L'Manberg, hereby state..."
Suck it, green boy!
I declare, yo!
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of freedom. As the sun set on their new nation, Tommy and Tubbo returned to the bench outside Tommy's house. There, they played a different disc to celebrate their independence. With the L'Manberg War ending, the server once again entered a time of peace.
Does anyone know the name of this or where the song's from in the background?
Over the next month, many small skirmishes happened, new developments occurred, and new players joined. But the next true development in their story would arise in early September, With Wilbur being the self-elected president of L'Manberg,
Hey.
many of the new players, upon hearing this, titled him a dictator.
Smiley face.
What resulted from these accusations sparked a new era in the storyline.
Dictator. Oh no, here we go.
A different kind of
Victor! Vic!
This was the first annual L'Manberg election.
Ooh, election. Vic's part of it, that's class.
Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't
Make sure
already.
you subscribe.
so
I wouldn't usually skip this part, but I really need to go soon. I left it late to record. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, leave a thumbs up. I'm looking forward to the next part. I really am. It's been a lot of fun so far. I know it's a long video, but hopefully you don't mind. Hopefully you enjoy the long videos. Some people say they like them more. Some people prefer a shorter one. So let me know in the comments what you prefer. And yeah, this story is actually really interesting. Yeah, I expected it to be anyway, but it's even more interesting than I expected. Like, it's proper, it's really in depth, especially for Minecraft. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, notifications on, follow my Twitch, JamieIsLazy, and yeah, cheers.